Hello everybody. I want to talk a little bit about how you can ride better corners with your horses in the walk and then also in the trot, same principles. And you always want to take a look at the individual pieces that influence your horse's movements when you get started on when you want to look at one particular issue in a little bit more of a close-up manner. So as you can see, I have Philly right now in a very long free walk kind of mode. Reins are super long, and all I'm doing is I'm going to ride around these 4 cones that are set up like a square here in the arena. I'm just going to be very, very relaxed, and at every corner, every turn that I want to make, I'm going to turn my inside shoulder back a little bit. You see I'm in shoulder to shoulder walk mode right now, following my horse's shoulders. Straight lines, both shoulders swivel evenly. Corners, left shoulder turns back a little bit more, and that actually translates into how she perceives my weight aids through my seat bones. So every time, if I keep my upper body in a cabinet mode, every time I swivel back and keep my elbows loosely attached to my rib cage, she will feel that I want to go a little bit to the left, right? And my inside leg stays by the girth. It's in the predominantly driving position. It's like the neutral leg position that we talked about in a different video. My outside leg is a little bit farther back in the supporting position. And she feels me in both of my legs, left, right, regular rhythm. My shoulders go back and forth in sync with hers. And all that changes is my inside shoulder swivels a little bit more back. My inside leg puts a little bit of a boundary so that she doesn't fall in when I want to ride or turn around the little cones here. And if she doesn't listen to me, I just swivel a little bit farther. Ultimately, when you practice this a little bit more, you can then, of course, reduce the amount of swiveling that you do. And as Charles de Comfy used to say, that you should eventually not be able to see any of that underneath your show coat if that's what you are liking to do. And so now we're going to take this a little bit farther. Also, I meant to not to forget to say that you want to stay seated on your outside seat bone. Very, very important. As you turn and swivel, inside leg stays on the girth, outside leg is back. You want to make sure that your outside seat bone stays weighted, if not even a little bit more heavy in some cases with some horses, so that your horse doesn't have this feeling that you're going to drag them in and basically across the corner rather than around it. And that's, happening very easily because we as humans have a tendency to go and lean into the curve that we're moving in, like on a motorcycle. You would go around a corner to the left and you would lean, and that's our instinct, but it doesn't help the four-legged structure of the horse, of course, right? So, all of these different things, keep in mind. Now I'm going to take up the reins a little bit here. Wait a minute, Philly, we're just getting a little bit more put together here, a little bit of medium walk. And the same thing happens here. Now she's a little bit anticipating that we're going to do something a little bit more difficult. That's why she's slowing down a little bit. I'm going to stay relaxed about all of this. A lot of horses have, a little bit of an initial fear of when the rein contact starts to become a little bit more noticeable to them, and Philly is one of those that is very super sensitive about that. So not a bad deal at all. I'm just going to show you, here is my turn again. Now in the medium walk, both my hands give and take to the horse's head motion, right? In Philly's case, she is not trained to do that. She's had some Western training, and it's not always very, easy for her to stay in a real good rein contact, especially in the walk. But the same thing happens now. Inside shoulder turns back, inside leg stays by the girth, outside seat bone stays weighted. And that's really quite everything that we want to focus on right now. The other thing that you can do is you can bridge your hands to make sure that your outside hand in all of these turns gives forward while the inside hand takes a little bit. So it's like a little bit like a steering wheel or a bicycle, and you can bridge your reins. I don't know if you can see that here. Do that a little bit. Good girl, you're all right. So, and then here's your corner again. Outside hand gives forward. inside leg stays by the girth, inside hands takes back a little bit. And then I'm going to show you here the same principle is happening in the trot. So now we're in just a regular nice trot. Inside shoulder goes back. Outside leg is a little bit farther by the girth, behind the girth, which you can't see. But here is my inside shoulder back, inside leg predominantly driving, outside seat bone weighted. And again, outside hand gives forward generously while you keep your connection with your horse's mouth and between your hands. And so everything is a little bit, I'm going to go into posting trot here for a moment so you can see that as well. In the posting trot, it's also very, very important that you do not step heavier into your inside stirrup, because it would cause your horse to drift inward and not ride a really nice clean corner that we are attempting to do here. So, and straightening. So every time after the corner, I give with the outside hand and I straighten again. Right? And in the beginning, I might exaggerate this a little bit. Give and straighten. You know, so that the horse really, really has a feeling that I'm going to bend her a little bit around my inside leg, if that makes sense. So here it is again. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I want to say about that right now. I think this is enough for anybody who is having problems with corners to get started with. And then later you can try the same thing in the canter. I'm going to walk here for a moment, give it a long rein, good girl. You know, the canter, of course, has a 3-beat and is a little bit more, has a suspension phase and all these different things, but the principle is the same. Do not lean to the inside. Stay upright in your vertical alignment with the horse. Keep your hands bridged. You can also actually cross your whip and put the whip on top of your fist and hold the whip down with your thumbs, as I do now. And you can then, with that kind of setup in the corner, turn and straighten again, you know, and you can use this as a measurement if the hands are a problem. If you have a feeling like you're not giving or you're not quite sure about the circular rein connection that you want to have with your horse's mouth, then this is maybe a good way to get a feel for that. Because as soon as you stabilize your hands, and you're saying to your hands, one hand can only do something, the outside hand only can go forward when the inside hand goes back. Otherwise, this whole construction won't work. And once you set that boundary for yourself in terms of your practice, it's really amazing how the human body will automatically make up for the rest of everything that we normally try to fix with our hands. So, and then of course, the same system works for riding corners in the canter. Inside leg drives, predominantly outside leg is back. Stay seated on your outside seat bone. Give generously with your inside, take inside and give with the outside hand. Straighten after each corner. And there's your beginning of riding a little bit of a nicer corner that otherwise might just be cut off, you know. Make sure you really, really straighten your horse after each corner so that there is a sense of a corner and a straight line. All right. So much for that for today. I hope this was helpful. You know, practice a little bit. Give yourself and your horse plenty of breaks in between if you need to. Just, you know, small segments are doing wonders, and you and your horse are on a special journey, and you deserve all the attention to detail that you can, you know, find in your teachings. And so much for today. Hope this helps. Enjoy and happy riding. Good girl, mein Filly.